Good Maven morning. Happy Wednesday, guys. If you don't know me, my name is Olivia Denton Thomas. I'm the brand counselor helping you go from hustling to wholeness with brand strategy. And today, um, I wanted to talk about being unforgettable. I wanted to talk about being unforgettable. I wanted to talk about being someone that people see and experience, and they feel like you're going to change their lives. And more importantly, because you exist, they are going to change their own lives, right? That's really how I feel about things. Like as as a brand counselor, um, it isn't so much about me changing your life or changing my clients' lives or anyone who I interact with their life. It's more so about them getting the tools and the systems and the encouragement to continue to do the things that need to happen, right? Because the reality of the work that I do is we do a thing periodically. It's important to actually do it periodically. Like a brand requires a refresh. Um, but even after the thing is done, even after the plan is laid out, the strategy is like put into place, and yeah, everyone's excited. Um, there is there is work that needs to be done, right? That's the thing about having a business. Like the business only works if you continue to work the business. And if you stop, it creates hi. Oh, thank you. Seriously. As you work to create something that is just absolutely real, real and helpful and outstanding and something that people want to engage with. So I wanted to talk about inspiration and integration, right? So with inspiration, I think we often think about that in fluffy terms. Actually, let's go back to authenticity. We hear the word right now, authenticity, a ton. We hear it so constantly. It is becoming kind of like the new like baseline buzzword, like, oh, you want to be authentic. You want people to feel that you're real. You want to feel that people know, like, and trust you, and they're engaged with like who you are as a person. But authenticity is it's a goal and not really a pathway. The way you get to authenticity is through understanding your own inspiration. It's understanding what it means to be you in this life and what it is you are here to create that's going to continuously wake you up enough for you to want to actually go and do the work to create it. My friend and I were talking about how like it's actually when you're trying to do the things as an entrepreneur, like whatever the things are, um, it's a little bit harder than when you're working in a job, when you're working in an office, when you're working with a team, because when you're in those places, you have other people's energy to feed off of, right? Like you can catch a dopamine high very easily because there's the rush of the deadlines. There is other people who are excited about the project. Like it's infectious. Um, Even if you don't really like what you're doing, you can still catch the infection of the work because that is the culture that is around you. When you're the founder, you are creating the culture. When you are the co founder, you are creating the culture, right? So you have to decide what's actually driving this thing. And it has to be internally motivated. A lot of us have looked for external motivation. So, again, those dopamine drivers, motivation is generally external. It's something that's happening outside of us that's making us feel like we can do it, we should do it, and it gives us like a push, right? But what we actually need if we're going to build something that is consistent, let's start with consistency. And if we're going to build something that is engaging to other people, or something that we actually want to do every single day, there has to be some level of like inspiration. So, inspiration is the energy that you get from something from the inside when it connects to your mission, when it connects to the things that you see and understand are necessary in the world and can actually meet like your skill set and your interests, right? So that makes you inspired. It's when you can say your mission and it is personal to you, right? For me, it's like helping women build lives and legacies without shame. That is huge for me. And I have to every single day stop and read that. I have to repeat it to myself so that I can like engage the part of my brain and body that's like, oh, yeah, we like this. We actually like doing this, right? Because there are times when it's hard. There are times when you don't want to show up. There are times when you wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning, you have no clue why, and you are just kind of up, but you have something to do at 9 o'clock. Hi, that's me today, right? Um, but there's purpose in it, right? I don't think we get to determine purpose. I think purpose exists outside of us. I think purpose is a result in the same way that authenticity is a result, but purpose requires you to operate in a mission. Someone's going to get something from you, um, but they get it most ideally when you are operating in your mission. So, are you doing that? You need to ask yourself that question. Like, am I doing the things that are inspiring to me? Now, the thing about your inspiration or your mission is you can apply them to like anything, right? If I'm like, hey, I want to help women build lives and legacies without shame, I can do that anywhere, right? For me, it's brand strategy because that's my competency. That's the area where I am excited about, what I know how to do, right? But if tomorrow somebody was like, be a math teacher, I'd be like, that is amazing. And in some way, I'd be able to shift the story and say how, pattern seeking and being able to find equations and solutions in math is going to help women build lives and legacies without shame. Maybe there's been a history and stigma around women in math, and I'm going to help like make that go away, right? So there's always a way to take your inspiration, whatever that is, and apply it to the thing that you're doing, and that makes it different. That makes it your differentiation. We're always seeking differentiation in like brand strategy and marketing, right? Because we want to stand out from the person who's next to us who's doing the exact same thing. But if there's someone next to you who's doing the exact same thing, they are not doing the exact same thing because their motivations are different. Their solution finding will be different, so the ways that they actually interact with their audience, with the people who are around them, it's never going to be like what you do because you are doing it for a different reason. So the lens you're talking about it from, the lens you're talking about it through is going to sound like that thing that inspires you if you take the time to actually figure out what that is and then move into integration, right? So I think we hear the word integrity very often. It's just like, oh, integrity. And it sounds like honesty, it sounds like truth, um, which, yes, but what integrity really is the ability to meld things together and be able to operate in them wholly, right? Like to operate in truth in an area instead of just saying, like, there's truth here. Like, are you existing in truth in that area? Right. So, a lot of the time, people start things and they aren't really operating in truth in it. They're operating from maybe what they understand as truth in the moment, which is fine. Like that's very normal. And then also people just like need to get paid. People need money. Like I'm never gonna knock somebody else for like cash flowing where they need to cash flow because provision is extremely important. But while you are cash flowing, you should also be figuring out what inspires you so that the work itself can move toward integration, where you can talk about the thing that is important to you within this area, within this category or vertical or company or whatever, so that when you engage another person around your thing and you're like, yeah, I do this from this lens, from this perspective, from this stance for these reasons, it's like, "Oh my gosh, that is really different," right? When you can tell your stories around what it is that you're doing, they can understand it more clearly. Like, because we're communal, we understand more deeply through stories. We understand, um I don't know. We want to engage each other and feel connected. And stories are what actually give us that. So when we can take our like inspired stories, whether they are our own things, or we find stories from other people, or we can like use anecdotes or metaphors um, that are related to the reasons we're doing things, it makes it something that people really like crave almost. They want to engage it. And like that is a change, right? And you can do that for anything. You can do that for any industry. I walked in the office the other day and a friend said, like, I don't understand. I told her I met one of her friends, and then the next day I was working with her friend. I was like, yeah, you know, we met and I worked with her, and you know, she did a power hour. The next day we were done and it was great. And she's like, I don't understand. Like, who are you? Right. And it's not so much about who I am, it's more so about why I am. Right. And I am constantly talking about why I do what I do. I am constantly talking about the mission that I have. And I'm constantly making that like a real part of the understanding of my brand. It's not the colors. I love my colors. I love my pinks and my greens and my purples. And it's not the shapes. You'll occasionally see a hummingbird here or there. And there's great mythology for me around the hummingbird. And one day I will dive into it because I think it's absolutely, you know, gorgeous. It's the substance of the inspiration. It's the ability to connect a person to something that they really didn't know that they could understand. They really didn't know that this is something that could even change or open their lives, right? Um, but it requires us, like, you cannot build a tall building without first digging down deep, right? Like, that's one of my favorite things in the world, because if you're gonna build something really tall, it needs something, like, deeply foundationally sound so that below it is held, it is rooted. It is rooted in something so that when the wind blows or when seasons change or whatever, it can still stand in that thing. So we have to think about like creating our mission, our vision, our values, like our brand strategy in that way. Not just like, oh, who are we standing next to? Or, you know, who are we talking about? And again, back to the colors. Um, but the philosophy, right? So like, what do we mean in the world? And how does that actually show up in every single thing that we do? Because that's important. That's integrity. When things that you say show up every time, you are integrated, you are aligned. We're looking for that kind of alignment so that people who are outside of us can also feel it. They're aligned. And then they can say, oh my gosh, you know what? I really want to work with you because I don't think I've ever thought about it the way you've said it. And I don't think anyone has been able to understand it the way that I have needed them to understand it. Right. So you need integrity, you need integration for alignment to even happen. I think that's another word that's like becoming very strongly used. And it's a great word. Like I think alignment is absolutely a necessary word. Authenticity is also a necessary word. Let me say that. But I think alignment is an absolutely necessary word because we want to make sure that the people we're working with, the partners we're working with, the people we're hiring have an understanding of what it is that we're trying to like manifest in the world through our mission, through our work, right? And they can't do that if we never actually engage the world from that place. Like we have to talk about like, you know what, I am here for this specific reason. Like I have a couple of clients who are they're all leadership people. I have worked with a few leadership people over the last maybe year, and they are all so different because of the reasons they come to this conversation around leadership, right? And because they're so different, they approach the problems differently, they see all the problems differently, and then they create different results and different products on the other side that are going to help their specific audience actually get what they need, where they probably never saw a solution before. Someone could probably honestly work with all three of these people and they could get like a very complete, you know, set of a very complete suite, right? Um, if they have all of the problems, obviously, I'm not pushing that, but like that's why there kind of is no competition. Um, I'm a firm believer in competition because there are other people in the market doing things that are similar to what you're doing, and people will choose and whatever. The only competition is how much can you show up. The only real competition is how much can you show up like yourself. How much can you integrate your inspiration into the things that you're doing so that you're not just competent, but you are inspired and inspiring, right? Your competency is so important. But if you're competent and unreachable, then no one can work with you. Sometimes people are afraid of you because you're so good at what you do, right? Like, obviously, you are amazing because you've gotten this far doing whatever it is that you do. And like, you have so much knowledge in this area, it can be intimidating to other people. So, sometimes to remove the intimidation or the feeling of like, inaccessibility or to create a feeling of certain levels of accessibility, right? You have to talk about the things that got you here, the things that keep you here, not even the things that got you here, the things that keep you here, right? Because those are the things that also make you continue to look for the solutions with time for the questions that you have. I love questions. I love questions probably more than I love answers in a weird way, because questions take you on a journey, right? And every time you work with a client, you are taking them on a journey. And every time you sit and you strategize about your business, you're taking your business on a journey, right? What is the next way we can help people with their journey? Is kind of the big question that you are asking. But you're also asking whatever your life question is, right? Like for me, again, I'm huge on like, well, why do things have to like not feel like self-care? And why do they have to like be wrapped in so much shame? Like I don't understand. Like, why can't people feel free to unfold as they are creating like magical, wonderful, useful things in the world, right? Like, this is the question I'm constantly asking. So, this is the question I'm constantly trying to answer through these conversations right here, through any content I produce, through any conversation that I'm having with people. Um, because that's really what this is, right? Like when you have a business, you're solutioning for someone. You're introducing a problem and you're solutioning. You're introducing the problem that you can see the way you can see it, and you're solutioning. And the only way you can do that is by continuously asking the question, continuously like innovating and using your inspiration to to drive you forward. You don't need to do a lot of dopamine seeking when you have the gas inside of you haha. Like the fuel is there, but you have to be brave enough to slow down just for a little bit to find it. And then you have to be brave enough to start talking about it and putting it out in the world. I think a lot of people get really scared at that part. It sounds really good to say, like, oh, I'm inspired, right? Everyone's an artist. I'm inspired. Um, but there's a certain level of exposure in it because now people are going to get to know you. They're not just getting to know your work. And again, your competency. Competency is easy. Competency is a tool for somebody else to use. So you can easily fall into, oh, they're really good at this. You should always call them for this because they're really good at this, right? And then you start becoming you start becoming known for your performance, which, yes, once again, absolutely. But you want to become a presence where it's not just the performance. People will consistently want to have you around because they see what you're doing. They see that it's not just the thing. You're not just like shifting a lever. You're building something a little bit more complex, and they want that. They see that the solution moves beyond like the simple shifting of the thing, and they want to help you as well. That's where we get into like really good partnerships, right? Really good partnerships come from people who have an understanding that we're doing something that's bigger than this moment, right? The alignment is because, hey, I want to do this thing. Do you want to do this thing? And you both get to solutioning together and then putting things out into the world. And you can't even be partners with your competition. Co-opetition is the term for it, which I think is like absolutely adorable. Because sometimes, like, there are gaps that we can fill for each other, even if we're doing the same things. Like, you know something, I don't know something, whatever. And as long as we're staying within our own inspiration and not trying to like destroy the other person, right? Like, we can build together. But there are other kinds of partnerships as well. Very important to say too. So, guys, I hope you stay inspired, right? I hope you become inspired. Find your inspiration and really use it, right? Actually engage the world from that place. Help people to understand that the thing you're doing is not just the thing you're doing because you can do it, but because it is something that is bringing forth a better world in one way or another. That's when we move from everything being a transaction to a transformation. Things change and things change for the better because you're inspired, because you're here. Like that's the whole goal, right? I always kind of jump back to that book, The Courage to Be Disliked, by far one of my favorites for 2024. And just the idea that everyone has a job, right? And if we are so moved to make sure that everyone likes us, we never get to fully operate in our job the way that we're supposed to, the way that's going to like change and really like contribute to community. We have to build for the people who actually like us and not be so worried about the people who don't like us. Don't even think about the people who might not like us, right? That's what my husband says to me all the time. He's like, I don't even think about the people who might not like me. And for me, candidly, that is very scary, right? Because it's not even so much about thinking about the people that don't like me. It's thinking about removals of safety, removals of understanding. I think there's been so much of my life where I've been trying to be like understood that it's easy to kind of like slide into the people pleasing, right? To be the good girl, you want to be seen as good, you want to be seen as useful. Um, But the second you do the thing that you are actually tuned to do and start ignoring the things that people like randomly put on you for their own services, they tend to dislike that. And that's, And that's okay. You're now out of alignment. And remember, I said like alignment's important. So now that you're out of alignment, you have a choice to make. Are you going to slip back into your habits of making sure that everybody else is okay and you're just kind of withering away because it feels safe and normal? Or are you going to move yourself with inspiration and do something that's a little abnormal, but fulfilling, right? Do something that might be outside of what people understand from you for right now. But they will get to know you in this new phase. Like I promise you, people change all the time. Things change all the time. Businesses change all the time. Like that is growth. If you do not change, you are staying the same. And we are supposed to change. So change and change publicly. Like you are okay to change publicly. Take good care of yourself, right? Like nurture yourself. Give yourself enough safety, enough community, like enough care that when the changes come and things get scary, like you can reach out to someone, you know how to soothe yourself through the feelings of, oh my gosh, this is hard, this is scary, because that's just life. There's always going to be something hard that comes up next. I don't think we talk about that nearly enough with business, right? It always seems like we're just going to like start a thing. We're going to hire people. Things are going to be great. Boom, 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 boom. But that is bypassing, right? Like that is like a surface level understanding of how things happen. Like I love those bullet points. They sound great. But in between those margins, there is so much lived experience where you have to go back to your inspiration, where you have to say, oh my gosh, okay, this is terrible, but this is why I'm doing this. And this is how I'm going to show up next. Right. Because you have to like encourage yourself. You have to regenerate that feeling, that commitment, right? That discipline. It's more the discipline than it is the feeling, actually. And then the discipline, the behavioral activation eventually creates the feeling with time. Not immediate. It's not always immediate. With time, we want to make enough deposits into this thing that we're doing so we can begin to see the returns. And sometimes it's going to take a little longer than we'd like it to. Um, and you have to just stick with your inspiration and you have to keep integrating. It'll catch on, it'll catch up. I promise it will. There might be little pivots along the way. That's real. But you'll get there. You'll get there. And you will be unforgettable. Like, I think you're amazing, obviously. So, with that, you stay intentional and keep flourishing. If you want to do a brand authenticity power hour with me, I will drop the link um, in the comments. I'd love to work with you to go from hustling to wholeness, to really like move from flustered to flourishing, right? Because you deserve it. Like you are here for a reason. And I want to help you to uncover that reason and activate it. I'm into that. All right, guys. I will talk to you later. Have a good Maven morning.